You're short, or at least think you are. Well, don't worry. As someone who is 6'4" and not done growing, here are 5 easy ways that you can grow taller. No long intro, let's get right into it. First, take a look at your age. If your age ends with a teen, like 13, 17, 15, 19, 12 teen, you still have time to grow, and in some cases, a lot of time to grow. One of my friends came into 9th grade being 4'10", and now, 2.5 years later, is 5'6". That's around 3 inches of height per year. So before I get into any actionable steps, just take a deep breath, sigh it all out, because you still got time. Alright, the first thing that you can do, you need to eat a lot of food. By eating lots of food, you can maximize your existing growth genetics. You should be eating around 300 to 500 calories above your maintenance. And in order to find your maintenance, I find an easy way is just to go straight on to a maintenance calculator, use that number to get a general idea of where you are, and then try to eat like 300 to 500 calories above that. If that seems like too much, using the scale as your best indicator, then turn it down a little bit. And then if it doesn't seem like it's enough, turn it up a little bit. Bulking or cutting is never an exact science and takes a lot of just intuition. And while you're on this bulk, try to eat less processed foods because they're just bad for overall health. You can still eat some, but for a while on my bulk, I was replacing entire meals with Doritos. And then for the first week of you doing this bulk, track literally everything. And make sure you get roughly 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight that you have. And make sure that your calories is within an acceptable range. And then after this first week of tracking, you can start trying to reduce the amount you track food and start just keeping a mental log of everything you've ate. Because over time, you're just gonna be able to figure out how many calories you need, how much protein you've had, how much more you need of these two things. This video is just about how to grow taller, but this is a great time to start exercising too. You can get some good strength and muscle gains while you're at it. And as you may see later on, weightlifting may help your height anyways. Next is to do stretches. All right, right now, stand up and take a look at where you are. See where your head is compared to wherever you're measuring yourself. And then put your hands up as high as you can and then stretch backwards. With this, you should be able to see maybe an inch or two of growth. As I can see right here, I mean, I've definitely grown at least a little bit this way. And it feels pretty nice for my back and legs. This is because when you're sitting or laying down, your body compresses, especially your spine. And by doing that stretch, you're basically just re-lengthening out your body. This only really needs to be done once in the morning to get the benefits for most of the day. This, since most of the compression you have happens at night when you're laying down in bed for 8, 9, 10 hours. Stretching is a great habit anyways, so gain a few inches. Speaking of it, you gotta sleep. Just like food, gaining a proper amount of sleep will allow you to maximize your existing growth genetics. If you're a teenager, like you probably are, you should really get around 9 hours of sleep, but 8 hours will do. A misconception about sleep is that in order to get 9 hours of sleep, people think you have to spend 9 hours in bed, while in reality, to get 9 hours of sleep, you gotta spend 10 hours in bed. This is mostly because of the time it takes us to fall asleep, and also that each person is awake throughout the night, even if we don't consciously remember it or know it. Sleep gets a lot of hate for just being a time waster and how there's way better things you can do with your time. But if you think of sleep as more of a magical fixing potion that fixes all the problems you have in your body over time, then it's a lot easier to justify. Next is weightlifting. I thought that all of these height growth YouTubers were lying when they said by weightlifting you're gonna grow taller. But from actually looking at the research, there are many studies that show when you lift heavy weights, you activate growth hormones and increase your bone and spinal density. And while this may or may not be true because there's limited research on the subject, a surefire way to increase your height is to have good posture. And you can use weightlifting for this goal, because by training certain muscles like the mid traps and the upper back, you can make it so that it's easier for you to have better posture throughout the day, and by making sure that you don't overtrain your chest or your shoulders. Some really good exercises you can use for this are the Y raises, the T raises, and also rear delt flies, but make sure that you're not grabbing the handles this way, as that will actually hit your rear delts, and instead holding the handles this way, as that will be more of a mid-traps workout. Next is nothing else. You can use these optimizing tricks that I've talked throughout this video to gain maybe 1 to 3 inches of height, but gaining any more height is just unlikely. There are stories of people growing after this age, but the reason that there's stories is because it's just not that common. And once you hit the ages of like 20, 21, 22, it's probably better for your sanity and your own confidence to just accept the height you're at, and instead focus on the things that you can improve, like muscles, money, riz, mindfulness. deeper connections with people, basically anything that this channel is about. If you're interested in any of those things, check the description below, where I'll have a few videos that goes over my research and opinion on how to improve these things. And while you're down there, make sure to hit the subscribe button, as I'm a small channel and I can take all the help I can get. And don't forget to do the stretches, hit those mid traps, and think better. Now go stretch, protein shake.